In reviewing this year's progress, let me say that we have been highly effective in conditioning the people's minds to accept our solution to the world's problems. The energy crisis here in the United States was exceptionally successful worldwide, and we expect similar success with our upcoming food shortage. Our labor leaders have made great progress by causing confusion and work stoppages in all areas of the world. Financially, the dollar is being devalued even faster than we could have hoped. Politically, the public has lost total confidence in any form of government. The threat of universal war is a daily possibility. As you know, we ourselves do not need to hold any visible office of leadership. We control everything. It will simplify their lifestyles tremendously.
Mr. Chairman, I am concerned about the situation in the Middle East.
We've given Russia and Israel a great deal of consideration. The mental conditioning of the Israelis is he has nothing to lose. Our one world government will be a reality. If we continue on our present course, it is my opinion that we could present the devil himself as a world leader, and the people would accept him.
Well, hello, Internet. How are we this evening? Sorry, I wanted to start that with just a little funny clip that we start. Oh, hey, there's Scarlett. Hi, how are you? She wanted to say hi. How's everybody doing tonight? Nice to see you. It's Friday. You made it. I hope everybody's having a fantastic Friday evening. Yeah, we got a lot to get into. We got a lot to get into tonight. Let's see. Who do we got here? Wally World. Hello. Nice to see you. Yeah, I know. She was actually here. She was actually here this evening. Sorry, I'm trying not to knock my mic over. All right. Well, that clip that I just showed you guys, let's see. That was from 1981. That's from a movie called, let's see, that's from a movie called Early Warning in 1981. And, well, they sure hit the nail on the head, didn't they? Yeah, I thought that would be fun to share with you guys. All right. Well, we have a crap ton of stuff to get into this evening, and today's been sort of an exciting day. I got reposted Elon commented on one of my posts today, and that was kind of interesting. Something I wasn't expecting. Massive earthquake here in Philly. What are you talking about, Wally? Would you get a massive 4.8 earthquake like they did up there in New York? They were freaking out over that too. We don't even get out of bed if it's less than a 5.5 here in California. What'd you have over there in Philly? Talk to me. How big of an earthquake was it? Now I'm curious about this earthquake. I'm not going to look it up though, Wally. So you got to tell me. Let's get into a bunch of different stuff. So yeah, played that movie clip for you. It's that movie clip is from 1981, and I believe that movie they sort of made it like around the Trilateral Commission, and it's just sort of interesting. All right, we'll keep going here. So that whole I'm not even going to go down this rabbit hole, but yeah, you know what? I will. I'm going to share this from this is a little thing that John Kerry's daughter came out and decided to talk about, and it's just creepy as all hell. And that's kind of why I started off with that clip. Let's go over here. Share this with you guys. What do you want? Can you go lay down, please? Go lay down. Thank you. Sorry, she's being extra needy tonight. So a lot of crazy things are happening in our world right now, and I don't want to get too conspiracy-y. But this is from John Kerry's freaking globalist daughter. She says, so John Kerry's daughter, Vanessa, has celebrated her promotion to the World Economic Forum's Board of Agenda Contributors by urging the elitist organization to transform itself into a world government and seize total control of humanity, regardless of whether we, the people, consent. According to Vanessa Kerry, the time is ripe for a globalist coup d'etat, which utilizes and controls mechanisms in the World Health Organization's pandemic treaty to create a world government that answers to nobody, explaining that humanity has been softened up by the COVID pandemic. Kerry outlined, distributing plans to ramp up an agenda of fear-mongering propaganda about climate change and to terrorize humanity into giving up the last of our rapidly diminishing freedoms. And it's sort of funny with this whole World Health Organization treaty that they wanted to get everybody to sign, which pretty much states that all governments will give over control to whatever the World Health Organization recommends in the event of another pandemic. And what do they have right around the corner? This whole bird flu crap that they're talking about. So let's see. Let's go here. Stop sharing that one. Yeah. So I'm sure you guys already heard about this bird flu thing. And I do want to talk about that, but I don't want to talk about it for too long. So yeah, let's go over here to Roz alerts. So annoying. Let's see, Wally World. It was a 4.8. Okay, it was the 4.8 that happened in New York. Yeah, I guess it's not an earthquake. I mean, I guess if it was closer to maybe it felt bigger over there because it was closer to the surface or whatever. But a 4.8 here, I mean, it's kind of like, do you guys feel something? Like nobody cares about a 4.8 here. In 1989, the biggest earthquake I can even remember, and kind of the only earthquake I can ever remember, because all the other ones are just basically like tiny little tremors. We get them all the time out here in California, little earthquakes. But 89 was different. 89 was the epicenter was actually, I mean, probably 10 miles that way in the Loma Prieta Mountain. It's why it was called the Loma Prieta earthquake. It was in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Just everybody remembers it from San Francisco. You know, the whole part of the section of the top of the Bay Bridge collapsing down onto the bottom. Lots of damage in San Francisco. Lots of damage in Oakland. The Nimitz Freeway pancaked down on top of the bottom portion of it. I mean, it was a big deal. I remember it very vividly. They taught us growing up in school to duck and cover, to go under the table. And my sister, I remember she's the only one that did what we were taught to do. I did what I actually think still to this day was probably the smartest thing. I ran out into the front yard and stood right in the middle of the grass. Like that was, and I still think that was probably the smartest thing to do. I wasn't too close to power lines, but yeah, but everybody scattered. I remember that. I was like 5, but I still remember it very vividly. Let's see. We almost never get quakes over here, so everyone is freaking out. Yeah, I know. There's people out in was it Staten Island? It looked like the freeway looked like the freaking Walking Dead. Like everybody was losing their minds. It was one side of traffic. There's cars going in both directions. People were going over the center median. It was madness. People are absolutely panicking. I couldn't believe it. Some lady in New Jersey put out a post, and she just got absolutely ratioed to oblivion. She puts out a post saying, "Oh my God, there was just an earthquake here. Climate change is real." Like, what? What are you talking about, lady? Oh, just people started ripping her apart. I think she might have locked her account after it because everybody was ripping her. It was great. Yeah, I won't even share that one. But what I will share is this whole bird flu crap. If you guys are in the chat, let me know. Make sure I'm streaming on all the platforms over here. Yeah, it looks like I'm live on Rumble, YouTube, and X. If you guys are on any of those platforms, say hi in the chat. Love to hear from you. Yeah, let's go over to Roz alerts here and let's talk about this silly freaking bird flu. So, Roz alert says scientists and experts are raising the alarm and warning that the bird flu pandemic could be 100 times worse than COVID-19, potentially resulting in fatalities in up to half of those infected reported by the New York Post. If so, a 50% fatality rate. So that means this thing doesn't get transmitted easily at all. So that's, you guys know what the R naught is? The R naught is like it's like a value, it's like a number value. I think it's like 1 to 6 or some crap. I'm not a scientist, but the R naught is like how transmittable a disease is, how communicable a disease is, and then how deadly it is. It's like a combination of those two factors. So if a virus is really deadly, and the R naught is still low, it's going to have it's not very transmittable. Like Ebola. Like Ebola, you kind of have to be right around a patient where one of their pustules like pops in your face. And that's pretty much how you have to get it to get Ebola. So it's super deadly, not very transmittable. COVID, on the other hand, wasn't very deadly, was super contagious. Well, if they're saying that half the people are going to die that get it, then it's probably not very contagious. And if they say that it's 100 times worse than COVID, well, doesn't that mean? Well, no. Yeah, I'm not buying any of this. But let's continue here. Let's go to Clandestine. He says the media is starting to push this H5N1 avian bird flu, which experts now claim has jumped into mammals and now into humans and could be 100 times worse than COVID. So 100 times worse than COVID. Doesn't that mean you still have a 99% survival rate? I'm not good at the whole math thing, but COVID had like a 99.9% survival rate. So if it's 100 times more, you guys do the math on that. I'm stupid. Flashback, August 2023, Russian military claimed the U.S. were preparing a new pandemic, just like they did in 2019. The Russians even specifically mentioned avian bird flu as one of the viruses the U.S. were modifying to inject humans or orchestrate a man-made pandemic, aka bioweapon usage. It's only a matter of time before the Dems start calling for mass mail-in voting and changes to the election laws. If the deep state wants to win in 2024, they have to steal it again. That's what Clandestine says here. Let's go to this quick. Well, it's not quick. It's like 5 minutes. I probably won't play this whole thing because it's from RT. So let's keep that in mind. But let's play this clip.
Russia's Ministry of Defense has released a statement revealing the murky activities of the United States military. The ministry says that Washington's Office of Pandemic Preparedness and Response Policy searches for virus mutations to then use them to further its own interests.
As in 2019, the United States began preparing for a new pandemic by searching for virus mutations. We do not exclude the use by the United States of these so-called defensive technologies for offensive purposes, as well as for the purpose of global management by creating crisis situations of a biological nature.
According to the ministry, Washington has been amassing various pathogens from its direct involvement with various biolabs around the world, which they say are for research and preventative measures. But Russia's defense ministry is not buying that. And they point out that whenever the Pentagon, for example, is interested in any pathogens, be it COVID-19 or avian influenza or the African swine flu, they later somehow end up becoming pandemic. And who stands to benefit from this? As we've seen time and time again, it's American pharmaceutical companies. And they point out, their findings point out that, for example, that there is a possible collusion between Big Pharma and US aid via an intermediary company called EcoHealth Alliance. Now, they have been studying.
EcoHealth Alliance, huh? Where have we heard that name before? Isn't Peter Daszak supposed to testify in front of some sort of commission that Congress is putting on, by the way? EcoHealth Alliance. How funny.
The diversity of bat population since 2015, and they've also been looking at mechanisms how to transfer coronavirus strains from bats to humans. And we know that just 2 months before the world ever heard about COVID-19, there was an exercise conducted at the Johns Hopkins University in New York, where in that exercise entailed scientists transferring an unknown at the time strain of coronavirus from bats to humans via a pig. So, of course, all this and the office that is now being opened leads them to question why this is happening. And of course, they also point out that the U.S. government, for example, in May this year said that there's no longer a public health emergency when it comes to COVID. Joe Biden himself last September said that the COVID pandemic is over. Yet this July, they are opening this Office of Pandemic.
All right, I think you guys get the point here. They're saying it's a bunch of hooey. They are saying it's a bunch of hogwash and it's a U.S. made thing. And yeah, remember when the whole lab leak theory was a big giant conspiracy theory, and That's what you were called you were called racist if you suggested that it came from a lab, and you weren't racist if you said that it came from a Chinese wet market where they like to eat bats. That wasn't racist, but suggesting it came from a lab with U.S. involvement where they test on coronaviruses in Wuhan. If you suggested that, you're a conspiracy theorist. And now it's looking that that's the most likely scenario of what happened. All right, let's go over to Dr. Mary Talley Bowden here and see what she has to say about it. She's been on the show. She's awesome. She was one of the first doctors to get canceled about all this coronavirus crap. She wanted to recommend ivermectin to her patients, and she got absolutely railroaded over this. She's been on the show. She's awesome. You guys should give her a follow. MD Breathe, at MD Breathe. And in response to the New York Post putting out an article that says bird flu pandemic could be 100 times worse than COVID, she says it's pink eye. Just absolutely bodies them. So this is from April 1st, 2024. And she just highlights two things, highlights the symptoms here. But Dr. Mary Talley Bowden says, summary, the Texas Department of Health Services, Department of State Health Services, DSHS, is reporting that the human case of novel avian flu, a H5N1 in Texas, the patient became ill following contact with dairy cows presumed to be infected with avian influenza. The patient's primary symptom was conjunctivitis, which I guess that's pink eye. This is the second case of avian influenza, a H5N1, identified in a person in the United States and is believed to be associated with the recent detections of avian flu in dairy cows. Okay. Well, they're already doing a bunch of funky stuff with the cows. It's going to give them an excuse to kill a bunch of cows. But okay, so how it's way worse than COVID, guys. But Dr. Mary Talley Bowden here says that it's pink eye. So I don't know. I thought you got pink eye when someone farted on your face. I thought that's what pink eye was from. That's just what I heard. Is that a wives' tale? It might be a wives' tale. All right, let's keep going here. Terry Wallace, nice to see you. I don't have any chickens. I wish I did. I need to build a chicken coop. I want to build a chicken coop, but I'm kind of scared my dog will kill the chickens. I want her to, maybe if I get baby chickens and she thinks they're friends, then she'll actually protect the chickens. I don't know. Scared to get chickens around here. We also got mountain lions in my neighborhood. Like, no joke. There's legitimately mountain lions in my neighborhood. They're on trail cams all the time. All right, let's keep going here. So that's not even what I wanted to start with, but yeah, now we got to get into the stuff that, I hate talking about. We got to talk about all the Israel stuff. We just have to. Actually, no. Before we get into the Israel stuff, I'm going to show you guys the post that I had that's going viral earlier. So I'll just play it really quick. And it's funny. You never know what's going to go viral, but I didn't think this was too insane of a deal because I'm surrounded by all of this stuff all the time and I'm just used to the super wokeness. But people outside of California don't realize how insanely woke it is. And this is a regular occurrence in California schools. There's people chiming in saying that, no, this isn't regular. Like one guy chimed in and says, I was a teacher from 2002 to 2017, and this wasn't normal in the schools. It's like, well, yeah, that was 7 years ago, dude. Like, look how insane the world has gone in the last 7 years. Like banana balls, absolutely bonkers. So you were in school when Trump just became president and people were starting to lose their minds. Think about how bad people have lost their minds since then, especially after all the COVID hysteria. Well, it's a 10-second clip. So this is what went crazy viral today. It's still going viral right now.
Expectations, but you guys always want to push it. You privileged white boys always just want to push it to the end. No, knock it off, Trayton. Knock it off.
I love that they're laughing at her. So this is at Aptos High School. This is like Aptos High School, really close to me. I mean, I've coached. There's been cross country meets at the school that I've coached, not against the high school, against the middle school. They just hosted the meet, but yeah, there's SoCal High School right next to there. They had a trans flag hanging. It's really annoying. Got pictures of that up on the interwebs. This is regular. Santa Cruz County is the wokest of the woke. And what sucks is people that that have this sort of ideology that try to cram this down everybody's throat, they're not the majority. It's just they are the gatekeepers. They can say all this stuff with impunity and not get in any trouble. And then anybody that speaks out against it gets canceled, gets their reputation smeared. They get labeled all sorts of horrible things. So people don't want to speak up. When all these people are actually in the majority, it's just people are terrified to speak up. So this small minority of super woke people that want to push this agenda, they get to silence everybody and push everybody around. Well, I posted this today, and some big name accounts reposted it, some large accounts reposted it, and then Elon commented on it. That was just kind of nuts. I've never had Elon respond to me, so he responded to me and just said this teacher should be fired. And I was like, hey Elon, nice to see you. It's kind of cool. And I Go Cheese Millennial, nice to see you. Yeah, Aptos High School, that's where that was at. Yeah, I can't even remember the lady's name. I could look it up, but it's all over the post. Just go to my page, you'll see it. And yeah, so Elon comments on it, but before I even posted this thing, I sent the raw video. Or no, it was after I posted it. I sent my post to Shia from Libs' TikTok because she follows me, so I can direct message her. I didn't actually think she would even see it because I imagine her DMs are just off the charts all the times. But she saw it, and she asked me some questions like, when's this from, all that, and I told her, and she took the video, wrote her own post where she called out the school district, called out the principal, and called out the school directly. Tagged all of them in the post, and actually that was the this is her post. I actually shared hers instead of mine. So yeah, Libs of TikTok, so you guys can see. So this is the same. This is my video. You can see it's that's weird. It doesn't show my name when I'm looking at it on the. When they share it from your account, but they don't repost it, it shows your name at the bottom. Well, I guess it doesn't do that when you're looking on the. I guess it only shows that on the app version. But so this is the video that was sent to me. This was emailed to me from a friend that is friends with some of the parents at this high school, and this has just been going around in circles with the parents, and they're not too happy about it. And yeah, so I posted it today. I sent it to the Libs of TikTok. I sent it to Shia, and she posted it on her Libs of TikTok account, and it says, this reportedly happened at Aptos High in Pajaro Valley, USD, Universal School District. So Pajaro Valley is, that's funny. I thought it would have been in Santa Cruz, but yeah, I guess that is a little bit closer to the Pajaro River. So she called out the school district, the high school, and she says, a teacher was recorded yelling at the white students, privileged, how privileged are you? The privileged white boys always just get what they want, knock it off. And then she calls out the principal. And well, her video, her repost of this has 555,000 views so far. Mine has like 50,000 views. And yeah, I think it's safe to say that this teacher's going to get a little talking to. What's funny is I don't even want this teacher to get fired. I don't. I want the word to get out that this isn't okay anymore. That all this wokeness stuff needs to go away. But I don't think there's any fixing schools. I don't. I don't know the laws in California. If you can just say, yeah, I'm not going to have my kid go to school anymore. I don't know if you could just pull your kid out of school. Like, that's what's insane to me too, is you can't just pull your kid out of school. The state will go after you in some way. So if there's a possibility, I would just take your kid out of school, especially if they're old enough to be at home by themselves. You're better like having them watch documentaries and giving them books to read and taking them to work with you if possible, and just teaching them stuff that than you are sending them to these indoctrination camps where they're just going to get their white guilt crammed down their throat. So yeah, that's what went viral today. Bunch of people reposted it, and it's just, it's still going kind of bonkers, but just thought that was funny. Thought you guys would be interested in that. Wally World. You thought Santa Cruz was a bunch of hippie surfers? We still got hippie surfers here, but it's a mix. You have the wokest of the woke here. You have all of the super peace-loving hippie type people that used to be in Santa Cruz, you know, the keep Santa Cruz weird type people, the white people with dreadlocks, smoking weed all the time, and just before COVID, before Trump, were just like peace-loving hippies, accepting, tolerance, all that kind of stuff. Well, they became rabid authoritarians over the last few years. When it came to Trump and when it came to COVID, all of a sudden, the whole tolerance and acceptance thing just went right out the window. If you support Trump, you are evil in their minds. You are the most terrible person on earth. And if you didn't take the vaccine, you're the most terrible person on earth. If you're not down with kids being mutilated and given puberty blockers, you are a transphobe. All this stuff. They've been indoctrinated into this cult, this freaking radical, postmodern Marxist cult. It's really what it is. They hate anybody that's not in their cult too, and anybody that steps out of line. It's sort of insane. It's the people that consider themselves like peace-loving hippies. Those types of people have become rabid authoritarians, and that's who I'm battling out here. That's who I'm constantly going to war with out here. I've already been canceled, so I might as well. I might as well keep doing it, and it does not help my reputation at all. It does not make me more hireable, and yes, it legitimately it puts me in danger. There's psychopaths out here. There's absolute psychopaths that hate me like to their core. Just fortunately, I can handle myself a little bit, but I mean, it doesn't stop somebody from doing some crazy shit to you, trying to ruin your life. But anyway, yeah, if you guys are tuned in, why don't you give that like button a tap? That'd be quite wonderful. Repost the show, all that kind of stuff. Terry Wallace, I see your name at the bottom of the post. Oh, okay, that's funny. Couldn't see it on my end. Terry Wallace, if the teacher has that opinion of those boys, she needs to go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I just don't think it's going to solve any problems, her getting fired. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't have kids in school either, so it's hard for me to make that judgment. But yeah, Colin, I mean, imagine if it was any other race. Said, you white boys. Say that about any other race. It sounds a million times worse. And that just shows how normalized it's become to be racist towards white people. And yeah, that's the thing. If you guys said being racist towards white people isn't a thing, you're just flat out wrong. Go Cheese Millennial. It started with the pink hats. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I think it started with Obama personally. All this stuff kind of started going crazy with Obama, and then when Trump came on the scene, that's just when it went absolutely bonkers. So, when were the pink hats? I can't remember when the pink. You're talking about the pink pussy hats, right? Yeah, I remember those. The Women's March stuff. Northside. No, it was before the pink hats. Yeah, I think because the pink hats weren't the pink hats during Trump's. I almost said during Trump's pregnancy, during Trump's presidency. I can't remember. The pink hat was anti-Trump stuff. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I feel like this started with Obama. It started before that. But when Obama was president, everybody loved Trump. When Trump was on The Apprentice, people that's what was so weird to me, how it just flipped. It just flipped, and all of a sudden everybody hated Trump. The RGS, hope you have a great show. You'll have to watch later. All right. No worries, man. I know you got your show to do. All right. You know what's funny is I'm kind of upset because Ian Carroll is doing a live stream right now that I really want to watch, because Ian Carroll's like my favorite account, and he started live streaming recently. And don't stop watching though, you guys. Don't go jump over to his show if you're already watching. You can watch it later. I'm going to watch it later too. But yeah, Ian Carroll's got a live stream, and he's doing some deep dive stuff into some CIA documents that he got his hands on. I don't know how he got his hands on that, but I just get sent videos of super woke stuff. So that's what people send me. I don't get CIA documents yet. Not yet. Don't forget to share the hit like button. Thank you, RGS. Yes, hit that like button if you guys could. It would be much appreciated. Repost if you're watching over on Twitter, all that good stuff. All right, let's keep going here. I'll stop sharing that. Yeah, it's funny. All right, yeah, now we do got to get into my least favorite topic. We got to talk about all the crazy Israel shit that's going on right now, because there's a lot of it. There's a lot that I got to go through. I know a lot of you guys I don't even know anymore. I used to feel like everybody disagreed with me on this Israel stuff, but I don't really feel like that anymore. What's funny is, like, I have a ton of Jewish friends, and I thought a lot of people would unfollow me because of my positions on this, but they haven't. I think there's a lot of people in Israel that are not down with what's going on here. I wouldn't say it's a majority, but there's a lot of people that are just not cool with, I mean, you got to look at this as a government, not look at this as the people, the Jews. It's like this whole thing gets conflated, and it is sort of frustrating. But what Israel's doing, and the amount of control that the Israeli government has with AIPAC and how much they contribute to all of our different government officials, and they have like a 97% election rate, where it's like 97% of the people that AIPAC backs get into office because they throw so much money at it. And that's just insane. And then once they get into office, it's like, who do these people really serve? Who are these people really going to listen to? Their constituents or the people that got them into office with all this money? It's super nefarious, you guys. And then there's the whole blackmail aspect of it, with the whole Epstein stuff. And if you talk about how Epstein was probably a Mossad guy, you're called anti-Semitic and all these things. And when you talk about this stuff and you start getting attacked left and right, it makes you even more suspicious of what's going on. And it's very nefarious. And then with all the stuff that they're doing in Gaza, I mean, we saw the attack on Iran. Here, I'll just play some videos. So they attacked the embassy in the Iranian embassy in Syria, and they killed like 3 high-level officials. And then they also attacked Iran directly, from my understanding. I think killed more people. And then there was this whole, the World Kitchen people, that civilians from the UK, from the US, from Australia, it was like a 3-car convoy, 2 or 3 car convoy, and they hit them with drone bombs, strategically targeting them. And it was 3 different strikes. It wasn't just one strike, like oopsie daisy type thing. The cars were clearly marked right on top of the cars. They knew who the cars were. They checked in with the IDF before, said, hey, we're going to this location. They're going on an approved route. And the Israeli government's excuse was, we thought maybe a Hamas fighter might have been with them. And we did it it was a mistake, sorry. And it's just like, wait, what? Hold on. Your reasoning behind this is that you thought maybe a Hamas fighter might have been with this huge group of people. So you took all of them out? Like all of them? Are you, what? That's your reasoning here? And like this does clear that's what it seems like to me. We'll just get into some stuff, but that's what it seems like to me, and it's not looking good, you guys. So let's just go through all of it, because there's a bunch of stuff to get into, and so some of it's gonna make you guys uncomfortable. Some of it's gonna make me uncomfortable. I don't like talking about this stuff, especially with how many Jewish friends that I have, how many friends that I know I have a very close friend that is just hardcore 100% with Israel. Just nope. He says he's not a Zionist, but I mean, he seems to be completely on board with whatever the Israelis do, and he does not like the Palestinians at all. And it sucks, because this is I don't want to say it's like a line in the sand with me, but if you are, what I'm seeing is genocide, flat out. I'm seeing a huge group of people, tons of innocent civilians being, at this point, especially in Rafah, how everybody's just been smashed into this tiny little area. Everybody else's house has been completely leveled and destroyed. They don't have anywhere to go back to. Food's not getting in and out, water, information. And these people are living in absolute hell. I don't care what you think of these people. Anyone that you do this to is war crimes, is crimes against humanity. And if you're justifying that in any way, I can't be with you. on this. I cannot support this. I don't care if these people hate my guts. I don't care. Like, you can't do this to a large group of people. And this seems like they are trying to completely wipe out the Palestinians. That's what I'm seeing. I'm seeing an ethnic cleansing is what I'm seeing. Oh, we'll stop talking about it. We'll just get into some videos. This is from Mario Narwhals over here. It says, Iran under attack, simultaneous strikes hit 5 military bases inside Iran. Okay, so this isn't even the Syrian base. So he says, Iran has accused foreign intelligence services of launching simultaneous attacks on 5 military bases and security headquarters in the Iranian cities of Chabahar and Rask. IRGC, we warn enemies in the region and outside it and terrorist groups. National security and stability are a red line. We will confront the threat decisively and firmly. So this to me seems like they're just poking the bear, and they want Iran to strike back at them. And if they do, don't we have to back our most valuable ally or closest ally or whatever they say it is? This has the potential of going super, super bad. And I mean, have you guys heard of the Samson option? The Samson option is if their Iron Dome gets completely overwhelmed by missiles, like they're starting to lose, they're under the threat of getting wiped out. That's the nuclear option. These things that they're doing, Israel just attacking Iran, is, I don't think people really realize how close to World War III we are, how close to nuclear war we are. We're closer than we were during the Cold War, and everybody's kind of walking around like, doop-de-dee, got to get Hamas. It's like, that's not what's happening anymore. This is insane to me. All right, I'll play this video. Pete Grabber says the one-sided ally. Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. Like, what do we get out of the deal? Really, what do we get out of the what do we get? I'm going to play a video from a very controversial character later explaining this, but like, really, what do we get out of the deal? It's our Biden calls it our aircraft carrier in the Middle East. It's not even first of all, we shouldn't be in the Middle East. That's not our land. But if we were going to justify being in the Middle East for strategic reasons, that's not even an important region in the Middle East for us to, like, what is there? What's right there? There's no oil right there that we're getting. Like, what do we want from that region? And then Israel says, oh, well, intelligence. We give you guys intelligence. It's like, you mean a lot of the times it's stealing our intelligence and selling it to China. They've been busted doing that like multiple times. The whole attack on the Liberty. We just give them weapons. We give them money. It's like the circular thing with our elections where they pay for us to do what they want. They pay for all of our, like I said, 97% of the people that AIPAC backs. And it's not just AIPAC. There's other Israel lobbies as well that back all these candidates, and 97% of them win. And then when they get into office, everything they vote for is pro-Israel. Give them more weapons, give them more money, give them whatever they ask for. And then they killed an American. They just killed an American, and they essentially said, yeah, it was an accident, but it was because they thought that they had a Hamas guy with them. They didn't have a Hamas guy with them. We killed all these people, but we're going to do an investigation. So don't worry, guys. We'll get this straight. What? Like, what are we doing? And then we're just going to ship them more bombs, ship them more whatever they want. What are we doing? This This makes no sense whatsoever. This is a completely one-sided deal. How does Israel have so much control over our government and they can do whatever they want, commit any atrocities that they want, drop bombs wherever they want, and we're just going to, greatest ally, got to give them more shit. Like, what the hell is going on, you guys? Like, I'm not down with this at all. And I apologize if this cost me friendships. I still love you guys. Even you guys that are pro-Israel think, I don't understand how you can think all this stuff is justified. Maybe you're not seeing it. Maybe you're not looking into it. Maybe you don't want to look at it. But they're doing horrible shit. Israel's doing horrible shit. And you got to call a spade at a certain point. I mean, they're bulldozing people. It's let's finish this video. All right, that's about it. So I don't know what they're laughing about back there, but all right, let's keep going here. So, okay, this is the attack on the embassy here. So this is a quick, 28-second video. Sorry, this is the Iranian embassy in Syria. So they're not just attacking Gaza, you guys. They're attacking. I mean, it's an embassy in Syria, but they're dropping bombs in Syria. They're dropping bombs in Iran. How are we okay with this? I mean, let's not act like innocent civilians didn't get hurt in this either. So anybody around this embassy, you see these people outside by their cars, they're all... So yeah, they killed apparently three high-level Iranian officials here, and they leveled the embassy. I mean, that's Iranian soil. An embassy is Iranian soil. It's just... And I can't imagine Bashar al-Assad is too stoked about this. Israel is turning the entire world against them. I mean, except for the United States government, who doesn't seem to represent the United States. They don't do anything that represents the United States. Print money, give it to Ukraine. Print money, give it to Israel. Send weapons to Israel. Send weapons to Ukraine. Leave the border completely open. Wide open. We'll keep going. We will keep going. So let's go over to... This is DD geopolitics. So this is China. This is China's reaction to all of this. I mean, China doesn't have China is very opportunistic when they get to call out human rights violations or atrocities or whatever. They are very opportunistic in that way, but still have to at least see what they're saying. I'm not saying China isn't guilty of human rights violations. They absolutely are. They're doing, Uyghur Muslims, all that stuff, but you still got to listen to what they're saying. So China, they say, China on the Israeli attack on the Iranian embassy in Damascus. This was a grave violation of the UN Charter and international law and a breach of sovereignty of both Syria and Iran. This attack is of an extremely vicious nature. 25 years ago, China's embassy in Yugoslavia was bombed by a U.S.-led NATO airstrike, and we feel grief and pain of the Iranian government people. To allow impunity for such reckless acts would send a serious wrong signal and would encourage even more likely acts. The red line of international law and the basic norms of international relations has been breached time and time again, and the moral bottom line of human conscience has been crushed time and time again. I'm not going to play the video. I think that was pretty much just quoting what he said. So it's going to be them talking in Mandarin or whatever and translated. So I'm not even going to read it. But so China's calling us out, and they threw that jab in there of the strikes in Yugoslavia. That was, I remember that when I was a kid. Remember what was it? Not was it Croatia? Who? No, Slovakia. No, I can't remember. Sorry, I'm just messing it up. There was a basketball team during the '96 Olympics, the year of the Dream Team, and the Grateful Dead. Was it Yugoslavia? It might have been Yugoslavia. The Grateful Dead gave them their uniforms because they couldn't. It was such a war-torn country; they couldn't even afford uniforms. So the Grateful Dead gave them tie-dye uniforms with a dancing bear on it, and they loved it. I remember that from the '96 Olympics. All right, we'll keep going here. Let's go over to Colin Rugg. So this is the absolute American Chad that was killed in the strikes. I mean, look at this guy, absolute stud. Looks like he had a baby, wife and a baby, and this is an American, you guys. So Colin Rugg says American citizen and aid worker Jacob Flickinger killed by an Israeli airstrike in Gaza. Despicable. Flickinger was one of seven after the IDF targeted a 3-vehicle aid convoy with a drone strike. The development is even more concerning considering the convoy of aid workers had coordinated their movements with the IDF. IDF Chief of General Staff Herzl Halevi apologized for killing, but said it happens in war. The other murdered aid workers include British military veterans James Henderson, 33, John Chapman, 57, and James Kirby, 47. Polish World Central Kitchen aid worker Damien Sobel, 35, Australian aid worker Lalzwani Frakom, 43, and Palestinian Safardine Issam Ayed Abu Taha. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm terrible with names. 25 were also killed. I mean, 7 people, 7 civilians that were going in there to provide aid, to help with food. They're going there, risking their lives, dead. Targeted. 3-vehicle convoy, triple tapped them from a drone, some teenager sitting in an office somewhere, like he's playing a video game. And what was their excuse? They thought a Hamas fighter might have been with them. And so that means he can only be in one of the cars. Yeah, we're just going to hit all 3. You guys, how is this acceptable on any level? I don't have Kirby's video pulled up, but Kirby's like, well, let's not jump to any conclusions. We're gonna let them do their investigation. Wait a minute, hold on. The guys that committed the act, you're gonna let them do the investigation and then tell us how we should react? We shouldn't be sending another penny, another single round of ammunition to Israel. They just killed an American on purpose. And obviously not just an American, not like because he's an American, his life matters more. It doesn't. A life is a life. But these were all innocent civilians that were going there to help, going there to provide aid. It's infuriating. And they're doing it with American weapons, American tax dollars. Like, we're funding our own demise. This freaking crushes me. Tim Pool calls it Israel derangement syndrome. It's so frustrating. Yeah, Tim Pool has such a blind spot for this crap. It drives me insane. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he just doesn't want to look at it, but he has like this disdain for anybody that speaks out against it too. It's like some guy was on not too long ago, and he starts comparing it to Australia. It's like, what are you? It's just frustrating. Lithuania. Thank you, Pete Grabber. That's who it was. Lithuania. Yeah, who the Grateful Dead donated the uniforms to. North side, 100%. This is nuts. Killing is wrong. Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying we should bring all the Palestinians here. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even saying that I necessarily would agree with the Palestinians, though. The more I meet Muslims, the less I think anything we were ever told was true. That there's this, they hate us because of our freedom kind of crap that George Bush sold us way back when. It seems like absolute nonsense. It seems like none of this stuff, we didn't have any beef with Muslims in the Middle East until we started dicking around in the Middle East and heavily supporting Israel and their war crimes. The more I look into it, the more I'm like, damn, maybe we do have more in common with the Muslims. I mean, after all, I mean, even in Islam, they consider Jesus Christ a prophet. Just saying, I didn't think he was just some dude that deserved to be killed because he spoke out against the state. And that is how Ben Shapiro put it on Joe Rogan's show. We'll keep going. Let's keep going here, guys. So yeah, let's listen to this guy talk about this is Chef Jose Andres. He said the 7 aid workers killed by the Israeli airstrikes were targeted deliberately, and he believes the conflict in Gaza is not a war against terrorism anymore, and instead it is a war against humanity itself. Israel blamed the airstrikes on misidentification of okay. So that too. They have to get Hamas. They have to release the hostages. They have to get every last Hamas fighter. Okay. Let's say you get every last Hamas fighter and leave all the other Palestinians alone. However many Palestinians are left. Do you really think that you didn't just create more Hamas fighters? Whatever they're going to, even if they're called something different later on, you are creating an environment where everyone hates you. Everyone that you're subjugating in Gaza hates you. And yeah, they probably will do horrible things to you if they are given the opportunity. To me, Israel has painted themselves into a corner where they essentially have to do an ethnic cleansing if they want to solve this problem. And even that won't work because then they'll have the rest of the Middle East against them. I don't see how this can be de-escalated anymore. I don't see how there can even be a 2-state solution anymore. Israel has shot themselves in the foot. And it seems like they are doing this knowing that America has to back them. Like we have to, and whatever they do. Like they're trying to start World War III. It really feels like Israel is trying to start World War III and drag us into it. And I don't want that. I don't want World War III, guys. I don't want any part of it. Let's listen to this gentleman talk. I think he worked for the that World Kitchen group that got murdered.
17 members between the specialty security people we have, 3 British individuals and 3 international crew plus 1 Palestinian, that they were targeted systematically, car by
Peace, Izzo. Nice to see you.
car. And this happened over more than 1.5, 1.8 kilometers. So this was not just a bad luck situation where, we dropped the bomb in the wrong place or no, this was over 1.5, 1.8 kilometers with a very defined humanitarian convoy that had.
So you guys see this? They got their logo right on the roof of the car. You can see the bomb goes right through the middle of it. These drones have really good cameras. They can see exactly who they're targeting. They knew who they were striking. These 3 cars. They knew who they were striking.
Had signs in the top, in the roof, a very colorful logo that we are obviously very proud of, but that's very clear who we are and what we do. But what I know is that we were targeted deliberately, non-stop, until everybody was dead in this convoy. That cannot be the role of an army. That cannot be the role of an army that has.
Oh, and by the way, the Palestinians, they don't have an army. The Hamas, they're sure terrorist organization. Fine, let's label them a terrorist organization. But that's essentially their army. They don't have an army. This isn't a war. This is a massacre. This is a freaking slaughter.
Hundreds of drones above Gaza in any single moment. Humanitarians and civilians should never be paying the consequences of war. This is a basic principle of humanity. At the time, this looks like it's not a war against terrorism anymore. Seems this is a war against humanity itself. You cannot be destroying every building. You cannot be destroying every hospital, every school. You cannot be targeting humanitarian. You cannot be targeting children. You cannot be fighting the basis of what humanity.
And you hear people say, so we shouldn't have firebombed Dresden? We shouldn't have dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. No, we shouldn't have. No. The older I get, the more I learn. No, we shouldn't have. Especially the nuclear bombs in Japan. The war was all but won at that point. You had suicide bombers, guys in planes just crashing them into boats because that's how desperate they were. The kamikaze guys. No, I don't think we should have firebombed Dresden. No, I don't think we should have dropped nukes on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Like, yeah, no, don't feed me that bullshit. And this is not the same situation either. This is, the more I look into this, the more this looks like a freaking ethnic cleansing.
We should be standing for.
Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's go over to Mario Narwhals again here. Okay, so the UN, even though the UN, don't get me started on the UN. I am not a fan of the UN. I don't even want to be a part of the UN, but they say, Mario Narwhal says, in a decisive 23-8 vote, the UN Human Rights Council adopts a report accusing Israel of potential crimes against humanity in Gaza. The report alleges Israel may have committed crimes against humanity by using live ammunition against protesters, resulting in significant casualties. And we're seeing videos of IDF soldiers blowing up innocent people. I showed the footage of the drone attack against those, I think it was 4 guys just walking on the street. One escaped. They followed him. He was injured. He sits down. They blow him up. It's like, oh, well, they're fighting age. One of you guys in here, I won't call you out, said, oh, they're fighting age guys. So what? Who are they a threat to? They're walking down the street. They're walking down the road. Oh, they're not supposed to go there. What do you mean? Because Israel said they couldn't? They're going to their home? Like, bulldozing people, targeting kids, just blowing people up. There's this, you see, there is some very twisted people that are getting joy off of wiping out. Like, they have completely dehumanized the Palestinians. In their mind, they are vermin that need to be wiped out. Where have we heard this before, you guys? It's the images coming out of there are freaking horrific. And then after all of this, well, this is the same day, but so there's antiwar.com, which is me. If you can't tell, I'm anti-war. I'm anti-Ukraine war. I'll argue all of these. Anti-Ukraine war. I'm anti this war in Gaza. And yes, if China were to attack Taiwan, I would be against U.S. intervention in that as well. A lot of people say, well, the chips. I'm like, the chips, that's your concern? The freaking chips? Taiwan is there's people there. There's people there, and your concern is the chips. Everybody's talking about like strategic reasons to go to war. No, because we outsourced our supply chain to another country instead of building shit ourselves. Like, that's not America first. It's not America first. Let's start building shit again. Let's stop being reliant. America has everything we need. And that's what made us great. We built all our own shit. We used all our own resources. America is such a unique geographical location. We have all the oil we need in California. California itself could supply, all the food California could supply, all the oil California could supply. Then you got Texas. We don't need to have chips made in Taiwan. Yes, it would take us like 10 years to ramp up supply of chips. Maybe Trump could do an Operation Warp Speed on that. But that was a joke. But that's no reason to go to war with Taiwan. Anyway, that was just me going off on a tangent there. So antiwar.com says U.S. approves transfer of thousands of more bombs for Israel. The shipment was approved on Monday, the same day Israel killed 7 aid workers and bombed Iran's consulate in Syria by Dave DeCamp. Okay, so we're sending tons more bombs, and Biden just kind of shakes his fingers like, "Don't, you guys are doing bad stuff." And from my understanding, the Israeli people are not huge fans of Netanyahu. And in my opinion, Netanyahu is an absolute psychopath. And I've said before, the October 7th attack, why did it take 7 hours? Why did it take 7 hours for the IDF to respond? Don't give me oh, they needed to strategize all this and that. Okay, they were strategizing as their people were getting as they're getting slaughtered. No, you're going to send people immediately. And how did they not know this attack was coming? How did they not see this coming from a mile away? When Egypt saw it coming and allegedly warned them, when they're right there. You're right there. Israeli intelligence is supposed to be the best intelligence in the world. You didn't know this was coming? Why did the CNN journalists that were embedded within Hamas, how did they know? And the Israeli government didn't know. My question is, and what Charlie Kirk asked in the beginning, and he hasn't talked about since, and I wonder why, because he kissed the wall. Did they allow this to happen? Was there a stand down order? Did they allow their own people to be freaking slaughtered in order to say, look what Hamas did, we got to go wipe them out? Was this whole thing allowed to happen to justify going to war and do everything that they're doing now? And what I said from the beginning is going to happen. They're going to turn Gaza into a damn parking lot, level every last inch of it, and then take it over and do a complete 100% land grab. Take all of it. That's what I think their plan is. That's what I think their plan was from the beginning. That gets me called anti-Semitic. Well, that's what appears to be happening to me. And I'm criticizing a government committing atrocities. I'm not criticizing a group of people. This is so frustrating. Keep going. We'll keep going here. So a lot of Israeli citizens appear to be blocking aid into Gaza. They are, acting as protesters, doing like sit-in type stuff, and they'll physically block the trucks from entering Gaza. And it looks like Israeli citizens are down with starving out the Gazans, just starving them out. I mean, it's starting to look like everybody in Gaza, like every last person, is on the verge of famine. They're starving to death. And Israeli people seem to be not only okay with that, but actively participating in it and happy about it. That's what I talk about, the dehumanizing a complete group of people. It makes you capable of doing horrific things. Once you no longer see a group of people as human, it gives you the mental capacity for atrocities. And that seems to be what's happening. Like, what I'm seeing with my eyes isn't matching what I'm being told. That's it. It's not looking good, you guys. It's not looking good at all. So let's go to a very controversial character, shall we? This is somebody that was canceled when he was 18 years old. This will probably get my channel nuked on YouTube. I don't care. If you guys are watching on YouTube and it goes silent, I don't care. We're going to listen to somebody that's considered a very controversial character. He said some things that I did not agree with at all. Some things that I found distasteful, to say the least. But everything he says in this video is spot on. And, well, yeah, I think it's time. I think it's time that Nick Fuentes is allowed to talk. So we're going to allow Nick Fuentes to talk here. Whatever you guys think of him, we're going to play Nick Fuentes.
Israel has invaded the whole of the Gaza Strip. They have pushed 1.5 million people into the small city of Rafah. Population before the war was 250,000. Now it's 1.5 million. Okay, the population of the entire Gaza Strip is a little more than 2 million. So it's something like less than 3/4 of the whole population of the Gaza Strip, which is already one of the most densely populated areas in the world, is now crammed into this one city. They have no food, no water, no medicine, no fuel, no electricity. They have been bombed for 180 days. They've been blockaded for 180 days. They are approaching starvation. The United Nations says that we're approaching the point where 100% of the Palestinian population in Gaza will be facing famine.
So, I mean, I don't know a lot about Nick Fuentes, but for years I've been hearing what a horrible person he is, what a racist he is, what a misogynist he is, what a sexist he is, all these things I've been hearing about him. And whenever I hear him talk, he sounds smarter than me. He sounds like he knows way more about this crap than I do. And just listening to him talk here, the tone of his voice, his body language, this doesn't seem like somebody that's filled with hate. This, to me, seems like somebody that is very concerned about people being massacred and people being starved to death. This doesn't seem like a bad person to me. I could be wrong. Maybe he is. But every time I've heard Nick Fuentes talk, he's had very valid points. He's made very good sense. I may not have agreed with him on everything that he said, but he was backing everything he said, everything he says. He backs up with solid points. They might be arguable points, but everything I've ever heard him say has been backed up with, solid ground to stand on. So I'm really starting to wonder why this guy was canceled. Yeah, he's said some extremely flamboyant stuff, but then he goes into detail about stuff. And yeah, I don't know what I'm saying here, but in this particular video, he is spot on.
That's how dire this situation is. And now Israel, that's in Rafah, Israel is preparing to go in and launch a major ground offensive on the city. And they're talking about leveling everything, which means there's going to be maybe more civilian casualties in this offensive than the entire war up to this point, because they've effectively cornered and surrounded the entire population. They got nowhere to go. And it's going to cause all kinds of other problems too. So not only are there going to be severe and very high civilian casualties, but the people that flee will be forced to flee across the Egyptian border. And the Egyptian government has said that they will not accept refugees. And yet they're also at the same time preparing to accept all the refugees in the Sinai Peninsula. So you're not only going to have all these civilian casualties, you're also going to cause major problems for Egypt. And a rift between Israel and Egypt is very problematic. It's also problematic for the United States. And then lastly, the offensive in Rafah may provoke the Iranian-backed Axis of Resistance to escalate hostilities against Israel. That's the Houthis in Yemen. That's Hezbollah in Lebanon. That is the Popular Mobilization Force in Iraq. And it may even involve Iran itself. So that's the third thing. And the offensive in Rafah could inexorably put Israel on a path to a war in Lebanon against Hezbollah, with the United States involved in that as well. So everything is coming down to this offensive in Rafah. Biden has pleaded with Israel behind the scenes. Lloyd Austin and Antony Blinken and other diplomats have been touring Israel, flying back and forth, pleading with them. There's been negotiations. There have been threats made that the United States might withhold military aid. Everything has been done, and Israeli ministers have said that they will go into Rafah no matter what, even if the whole world, including the United States, is against them. So we're at the point now where Israel has turned literally the entire world against them.
And it does seem that way. It does seem that Israel's lost whatever support they had in the beginning of this. It seems that they have lost all of that. All right, let's check in with the chat here. Amused thing. Palestinians protesting around the world, hurting people and destroying property is not the answer. Yeah, I'm not talking about those protesters, especially the leftist protesters that wear trans flags and masks and crap that go like they don't even know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're protesting. This is just another LARPing thing that they do. I'm not talking about the protesters. I'm talking about the war that's happening right now in Gaza. Sounds like October 7th, doesn't it? What sounds like October 7th? What Israel's doing in Gaza? No, doesn't sound like October 7th at all. Not in the slightest. I don't know what you're talking about. Pete Graber, wasn't he born in Poland? I'm not sure. Bicizo Fuentes is a cool man. I don't know a lot about him. I really don't. But every time I hear him talk, well, not every time, but yeah, for the most part, yeah, every time I hear him talk, he makes sense. Bicizo, yeah, same here. I heard the racist BS about him and just never looked into him until I came across it randomly, and he was like, wow, this guy got character assassinated. Yeah, and it's kind of seeming that way, especially after the way they've gone after Cohen, after Candace Owens. What happened to Kanye? It's, it's pretty suspicious, man. Let's see. Whiskey Reaper, Temple Mount is going to be wiped. Albert Pike, do you mean to say wiped out? It's going to be set up for World War III. Is Temple Mount, is that where the Al-Aqsa, I don't know how you say it, the Al-Aqsa Mosque is? I mean, from my understanding, that's like the third most important mosque in Islam. And if Israel blows that thing up, all hell is going to break loose, from my understanding. And then you got their whole red heifer, sacred cow thing where I don't know enough about that to talk about it, but this whole thing, and April the 8th, everything that's going to be happening on April the 8th, this whole thing's like, if April the 8th seems like a big date. Can't go against the Zionist mafia. Yeah. If you read Whitney Webb's books, One Nation Under Blackmail, I mean, it really sheds a lot of light on this stuff. And if you look at AIPAC and how they seem to control a lot of our government, that becomes a lot more suspicious. And then if you look into the origins of AIPAC and who was trying to make them register as a foreign agent and then had a big chunk of his head go missing, that was kind of suspicious. And then they still to this day aren't registered as a foreign agent. Like, how is AIPAC not registered as a foreign agent? It still makes no sense to me. Love your brother and sisters. Yeah. Northside Fuentes has some extreme views, but his head is pretty screwed on tight with respect to the Zionism. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what his other extreme views are. And yeah, I if I disagree with him, I'll say it. If he says something I disagree with, I will say why I disagree with it. And it's just there isn't much that he said that I've disagreed with. My neighbors, best bud, Jewish, next door, Palestinian, and Hindu, and atheist, and the greatest court parties are all drink beer together, bypass the left-right paradigm, and just love. Yeah, I get it. Like this, I say it all the time. Like some of the most influential people in my political way of thinking, Michael Malice, Dave Smith, Spike Cohen, all of them Jews, libertarian thought process. Well, Michael Malice isn't a libertarian. He's an anarchist, but he's probably made me rethink my whole political philosophy the most. And also somebody that I've become very, I'm not going to say very close with, but I consider him a friend, and I talk to him regularly, and we just 100% disagree about this topic. I still consider him a very close friend, and he checks in on me, and I check in on him because times are tough right now. Things are tough for a lot of people. Things are very tough for me. Things are very tough for him right now. And like, even though we disagree on this particular topic, we check in with each other and just be like, hey, you doing okay? Like, are you staying afloat? Is your head above water? All that kind of stuff. We completely disagree on this topic, but yeah, I'm just blabbering there. We'll keep going, you guys. I'll keep going. I want to get through all this Israel stuff because there's a bunch of other stuff that I want to talk about. So keep going here. I think we're more than halfway through the Israel stuff. But let's go to Glenn Greenwald. Let's go to a 2-minute clip from Glenn Greenwald talking about this. This is professional Mearsheimer. I think the Israelis would like to get us into World War III with Hezbollah. I think the Israeli view deep down is that the bigger the war is, the greater opportunity for ethnic cleansing. And that is what it seems like to me is happening from the get-go, that they want to turn Gaza into essentially a parking lot and do 100% land grab. All the Palestinians gone. All of them. In whatever way that happens, it happens. They want all the Palestinians gone. They want all of the land. That's what this seems like to me. So let's go over to Glenn Greenwald talking with John Mearsheimer.
What are the kinds of things that Iran could do or might do in order to retaliate, something it seems like they almost have to do? And what are the possible implications of that for the United States?
Well, the fact is that the Iranians don't want a war with the United States. They've been trying to avoid a war with the United States. They've gone to great lengths to communicate to us that they don't want a war. And of course, we don't want a war with them either. When we first put those 2 aircraft carriers and the other naval ships into the Mediterranean Sea, it was not so much to protect Israel. I mean, there was some of that at play, but it was mainly to make sure that the war didn't escalate and we didn't get dragged in. We don't want to get dragged into any wars in the Middle East. We're already fighting the Houthis. That's bad enough. But we don't want a war against Hezbollah, and we certainly don't want a war against Iran. And I think what's going on here, as I alluded to before, is I think the Israelis would like to get us into a war with Iran. And I don't think the Israelis would mind it at all if they got into a war with Hezbollah. And in fact, in the early months of the war, there was lots of evidence, at least in the newspapers, that the United States was telling the Israelis that they could not start a war with Hezbollah because there was evidence the Israelis actually wanted to go to war with Hezbollah. They wanted to deal with that problem militarily. As you well know, the Israelis believe in big stick diplomacy. They believe that they can beat other groups or other countries over the head with a big stick and get their way. It hardly ever works, but that's their sort of modus operandi. And I think they wanted to pick a fight for a number of months there with Hezbollah, not only to punish Hezbollah, but I think they also saw as an opportunity to do ethnic cleansing on the West Bank. I think the Israeli view deep down is that the bigger the war is, the greater the opportunity for ethnic cleansing, not just in Gaza, but in the West Bank as well. And as you know, that's their ultimate objective, to cleanse the Palestinians out of both of those 2 pieces of real estate.
What?
I don't know, guys. I mean, all the evidence is pointing in one direction, that they're willing to do this by any means necessary. And if you look at it with them, with civilians blocking aid getting into Gaza, with them not being able to just obviously carpet bomb all the civilians and wipe them out, if the ultimate goal is to get rid of the Palestinians by any means necessary, and starving them out being one of those means of doing that, well, wouldn't people bringing food in disrupt that objective? So if that's the case, wouldn't you have to ask, is that why they drone bombed those 3 vehicles from the World Kitchen? It was obviously deliberate. Why do that? And if you're saying because you thought they had 1 Hamas fighter, that doesn't make sense either. Why do that? You're not just gonna do it just for fun. You think not. But if your ultimate objective is to get rid of the Palestinians by any means necessary, including starving them out, and somebody's bringing them food, that gets in the way of that. I mean, you have to speculate about that at this point when all evidence is pointing in one direction. I mean, the more I look into this, the worse it gets. And yeah, well, we'll get out of Israel and Gaza for a moment, and we'll talk about, like, Ben Shapiro has really exposed himself. You know, the facts don't care about your feelings guy, talking about why he got rid of Candace, because Candace was going to war with Rabbi Shmuley, you know, she's speaking out against what Israel's doing. She's speaking out very aggressively. And lo and behold, she gets canceled from the Daily Wire, when you're supposed to be able to have any views you want on the Daily Wire, right? Except for on this one thing. So let's listen to Andrew Schultz talk about this. And it's, you know, a lot of people, big name people, are coming out saying, "No, this ain't right. Like, what you guys are doing is wrong." And this seems like genocide. like an ethnic cleansing. That's what this is. All evidence is pointing to. That's what this looks like to so many people. And that's kind of what Candace Owens was saying. And, well, you're not allowed to have that view, apparently, if you're on the Daily Wire. Listen to Andrew Schultz talk about Ben Shapiro.
He makes the argument for censorship. He calls it something else.
Yeah, I forget the term. I have it in my phone.
But I don't even think he's using the term right. But he's basically like, there's a window of ideas we accept.
Yes.
And we accept ideas between this, I guess this is, if I get window, you're looking like this. So we accept ideas between here and here. And anything outside of that window, well, you're fireable. That's censorship.
What?
But
Yeah.
he's acting as if this is like a justified reason for firing people when you built your identity and platform off of no censorship and freedom of speech and facts don't care about your feelings and all this shit.
It's also funny that window happens to end where his beliefs end.
I am
Isn't it
shocked
interesting?
that you would say
Well,
that.
not being pro-Israel, that's where the window ends. That's also
What?
your specific personal belief.
What?
So I just
So
don't
you
see.
can't have an opinion on your platform that is not pro a country that is not ours?
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Crazy. I wish.
So is
I
the
wanna
Daily
look at
Wire an American media platform or is it an Israeli media platform? I'm just asking.
This guy's cooking.
I'm just asking. Get. I'm just no. If the rule is, I'm just saying, if the rule is you cannot be critical, because he has no problem being very critical of America.
Yep.
He's critical of the left in America. Left is half the country. You have no
half.
problem eviscerating half
That's
of the
the
country.
current party in power.
But you can't criticize Israel as a country. That's just another country, unless you're saying, and you're clearly admitting that the Daily Wire is an arm of the Israeli, I guess, media or propaganda machine. Wait, is that? Are you manipulating the religious right in America? Are you manipulating the right-wing conservatives in America and selling them country western movies and putting on your little cowboy hat and fake moving to Nashville so that you could take all their money and then in the process restricting free speech, one of the core tenets of the American identity? Ben.
Benjamin.
What is happening? There's trouble in paradise.
I love Andrew Schultz. He's freaking hilarious. So, I mean, he's got a very good point there. Is Ben really America first? It doesn't seem like Ben's America first. It doesn't seem like that at all. Here's just an example of all these politicians. So you see so many of these politicians that they don't speak out at all against what is very clearly happening in Palestine. All the stuff that we just reviewed, all not just what's happening in Palestine, but Israel attacking the Iranian embassy in Syria, Israel attacking Iran directly, Israel attacking the World Kitchen people, killing 7 civilians, one being an American. They don't speak out against it at all. So this Rep. Eric Burleson, this where is he out of? So 7th Congressional District of Missouri. So here he is at the wall, kissing the wall. I mean, how much money did AIPAC donate to him? Let's see. I'm sure it's in the comments here. Somebody always puts it. Let's see. You see your first comment. Jake Shields here. How much did they pay you to kiss the wall? And Jake said some very inflammatory stuff that I don't necessarily agree with. But I do like Jake. All right, we'll keep going here. There's just so many people that it seems have complete control or high levels of influence over how our congressional candidates, how our senators, how our president votes and makes decisions regarding Israel and what's best for the American people versus what Israel wants. And it seems that those two things don't align. And when they don't align, they don't go with what's best for the American people. They go with what Israel wants. And that's becoming very clear to so many people. All right, let's keep going here. We're almost through all this stuff. So this is from U.S. Civil Defense News. It just says if if the Israeli Iron Dome air defense gets overwhelmed by a massive barrage of missiles by Hezbollah or Iran, the IDF is ready to respond with a nuclear response. It's called the Samson option. So let's go. So I just looked up what the Samson option is. Go to Wikipedia here. So the Samson option. For the 1991 book, see the Samson option, Israelis' nuclear arsenal and American foreign policy. The Samson option is Israelis' deterrent strategy of massive retaliation with nuclear weapons as a last resort against a country whose military has invaded and or destroyed much of Israel. Commentators have also employed the term to refer to situations where non-nuclear, non-Israeli actors have threatened conventional weapons retaliation, such as Yasser Arafat. The name is a reference to the biblical Israelite Judge Samson, who pushed apart the pillars of the Philistine temple, bridging down the roof, killing himself and thousands of Philistines who had captured him, carrying out "Let me die with the Philistines." Okay, so that's the Samson option. Yeah, and just this last thing. This is from Haggai Matar. He just says, breaking an explosive investigation by Yuval Abraham, fairly big account, exposes some of the AI machines the Israeli army uses, which have killed thousands of innocent civilians. Operators of the AI's Lavender and Where's Daddy speak to these two individuals and shows their two accounts. I don't have time to get into this article, but it appears that they're using AI to decide where to bomb, and that's not highly encouraging. It's not highly encouraging at all. All right, that's all the Israel stuff I think I want to get into. I know it's heavy shit, you guys, and yeah, I don't necessarily like talking about it either. But I mean, we've never been closer to World War III, and we have to talk about this. We have to. There's no getting around it. No getting around it, guys. All right, let's keep going. Check in with the chat here. Pete Grabber, it seems historically all their power goes away under the gold standard. Well, isn't that interesting? I mean, that's a whole other rabbit hole. Yeah. Where did the Federal Reserve come from? All that stuff. Like Dave Chappelle said, it's all a coincidence. Yeah, no kidding. Northside, fake red heifers. I don't know what you mean by that. Let's see. Whiskey Reaper, religion is poison, period. The Great Divider. Well, I consider myself a Christian, so I mean, I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. There's plenty of religions that are extremely, extremely peaceful. Whiskey Reaper, stand up, stir the shit, pot up completely. The problem is you keep being fed the shit and kept in the dark. Shine some light and the disinfectant and disinfect the situation. The majority is waking up. Yeah. There's this. You guys got to think about how I said this last episode, how different of a world we live in now compared to 2020 with what we're allowed to talk about and what information we're allowed to share. 4 or 5 years ago, you weren't allowed to talk about stuff. The censorship was so out of control. And I've done a whole episode on why I think the forced sale of TikTok is so important, because they want to control the narrative. Jonathan Greenblatt coming out talking about, controlling the narrative of the 30 or unders, and they use TikTok, and, Mike Gallagher bringing forth the TikTok bill himself when he got tons of money from AIPAC, and then he brings the bill forward, decides he's going to step down, but he's going to wait just long enough to where they can't replace him. And then where's he going? Palantir, the essentially the data aggregating software that it's basically pre-crime. And they have heavy connections to intelligence agencies and Mossad. And it's just, the whole thing comes full circle. It's who's really pulling the strings here. It's Yeah, it's just it's quite interesting, you guys. Quite interesting indeed. All right, I don't want to talk about Israel anymore this episode, so I'm not going to. Already talked about that. Close all those. Sorry, guys, I'm figuring out what I want to get into here next now. Already talked about that. Sorry, there's a bunch of other stuff I want to get into, guys. We're gonna get tinfoily in a minute here, but okay, all right. This is like some really creepy but funny stuff that we're gonna get into. So, well, I don't know if funny is the right word. I don't know if funny is the right word at all. We're gonna talk about the Ashley Biden diary and who's been commenting on that whole situation, because it's creepy stuff. Creepy stuff, guys. All right, let's go over to Matt Wallace here. Yes, he's put out some engagement bait. He's put out some false stuff, but let's see what he has to say here. This is Amy Harris. She found Ashley Biden's diary in Florida Beach in a Florida Beach home and felt morally obligated to make public. Now Biden's DOJ is seeking prison time as a punishment and pretending she stole it. In the diary, Ashley details how her father, Joe Biden, forced her to take inappropriate showers with him when she was a teenager that caused her to feel turned on when she wasn't supposed to be, adding that it made her feel uncomfortable. Ashley Biden denied the existence of the diary until she was caught on tape admitting it was hers. She even threatened to get Secret Service involved. Once again, the Biden DOJ is abusing the legal system like a dictatorship to punish people, this time over a diary they claimed was fake. Total BS. All right. So, and he highlights here. Let's zoom in on this picture so I can read it a little bit better. But he highlights at a young age, showers with my dad. That's what he highlights right there. Okay. So you guys know the Krasensteins, right? The Krasenstein brothers, the twins, the creepy Krasensteins, those little twins that are always spinning propaganda for the Biden administration. If you guys don't know who they are, they originally were like Trump reply guys. That's how they got really big on Twitter, was like Trump reply guys, just always replying to Trump's Twitter posts and just sort of coming at Trump from the left. And if you do a little digging into them, they got in some serious trouble back in the early 2000. I was like 2010, 2011, 2012, somewhere around there, where they were running a Ponzi scheme and they got busted. And well, now they're doing all this, and it sort of makes you wonder, like, It's because they are so over the top in defense of Joe Biden, will never criticize him about anything, and will defend him even when this should destroy people's reputations. So let's go to Ed, who follows me, who I've interacted with several times, and he's even said some stuff I've agreed with on occasion, very rarely, but on occasion. And just last week, the video of P. Diddy with the white girl that he adopted, you guys see that one? I don't have it pulled up, but P. Diddy adopted a white girl. And there's this really creepy video of him with a bunch of dudes in the background talking about why he adopted her and why it's not creepy, which made it even more creepy. Well, I interacted with Ed on that one. He's like, yeah, this don't seem right. I'm like, yeah, this don't seem right at all. And then he comes out with this. So, and this is from Alex Rosen, and this meme is freaking hilarious. But this is an actual tweet, an actual post from Ed Krasenstein. And I can't believe he's picking this hill to die on. But he says, there are plenty of fathers who have been in the same shower as their young daughters. Virtually all pediatricians and child psychologists support it up until a certain age. Huh? What? Huh? No, Ed. That's highly, highly inappropriate. That's gross. That's borderline pedo shit. Like, what are you talking about? Like giving your kid a bath when they're still a toddler, but not being in the shower with them, taking a shower. What are you talking about? And you read the letter. You read the diary. She said he was in the shower making her feel aroused, and it made her uncomfortable. And Ed's defending this. He's like dying on this hill. And then here's Alex Rosen. If you guys see this post, it's this is Alex Rosen. He yeah, you guys know Alex Rosen. He's like the pedo hunter. He puts out bait for them online, and he sets up meets, and then he goes to meet them, and he's like, yeah, you said all this horrible shit. We're going to get you arrested. And he just made this meme here because this is just super creepy. Super creepy what Ed said. It's like, how are you going to go to bat? And he kept doubling down on this too. He keeps doubling down on it. So let's listen to Ed actually talk about this, because this is unhinged. This is absolutely unhinged. I don't get how you can choose this hill to die on. This is insane. He just, in the background he chose for this video, it just makes it even more creepy. I'm sorry. This background makes the video even more creepy. But let's listen to Ed dying on the hill of it's okay to shower with your daughter.
Yes, those who stole and sold Ashley Biden's diary should be held liable. No, Ashley Biden's diary has not been confirmed for legitimacy. No, Ashley Biden's diary does.
Oh, hold up. All right, we gotta go. We're taking a little detour here. SSNS. Are you being for real? I am Trayton. I got yelled at by Miss Shook. Are you a real dude? That was you? Are you serious? Well, your video is going super viral right now, dude. You know that, right? Elon commented on it. Elon commented on your video. Libs of TikTok shared it. Hopefully you're seeing that. Is that really you, or are you just dicking with me? Are you just some rando? Please tell me that was really you in the classroom. I want to hear this. This is hilarious. This is gold. All right, I'm gonna finish with this Ed Krasentine stuff, and I'll come right back to you, Trayton. I really hope that's really you from that video, and we'll play it again if I can pull it up here.
Does not claim that Joe Biden did anything illegal to her. It merely.
What? No. Anything illegal. What about highly inappropriate, Ed? You creep. I can't believe he is doubling down on this and going to bat. This isn't a father bathing his baby or a toddler where he's outside the tub. We're talking about naked in the shower with your daughter when she's a teenager. No, Ed, you creep. What are you talking about?
Says, quote, showers with my dad, probably not appropriate, end quote. That's what it says.
And right here, see, we have the luxury of pausing the screen when he's talking. He says, probably not appropriate. And if you go down a little bit, it says, my dad, probably not appropriate, being turned on when I wasn't supposed to be. Notice how he left that part out there. Ed, what are you doing, dude? Like, seriously, Ed, what are you doing? I think we should check out your browser history. I think we should look at your C drive on your computer. This, Ed, you are highly suspect, Ed.
And somehow people are making this out to be, oh, Joe Biden molested her, Joe Biden hurt her, Joe Biden did something terrible to her. No.
Oh, notice how he got that diary entry off the screen there because it shows the rest of what she was saying.
It doesn't allege that, and it hasn't been verified. The chain of custody matters here. How many hands did this diary pass through before it got to the media?
Now, let's pretend this came out and it was Trump's. Ed would be saying the exact opposite thing. That's how you know how transparently corrupt his messaging is. Like, who are you really working for, Ed? Seriously, who are you working for?
Media outlet that leaked it. A lot. Do we know if anything was edited, added, changed? No, we don't. Am I saying it was? No, I'm not. The diary merely says showers with my dad. Probably not appropriate. Now, some of you might say it is never appropriate for a father to be in the same shower with their daughter.
Yeah, I'm saying that. It is never appropriate for a father to be naked in the shower with his daughter. Ever. It's not appropriate.
If you ask most pediatricians or child psychologists, they'll probably say somewhere between the age of 3 and 5, it is no longer appropriate.
Yeah, she was a lot older than that, Ed. You creep. And even between the ages of 3 and 5, no, you would be suspected of being a pedo if you were naked in the shower with your daughter. You creep.
For a father to be in the same shower as their daughter. We don't know how old Ashley Biden was when she, quote, took showers with her.
Old enough to be aroused when she didn't want to be. That's a lot older than between the ages of 3 and 5, Ed. You creep.
Father, if she even did.
How is Ed choosing this hill to die on? I mean, he must be getting paid really well, or they must have some serious dirt on him. Like, what the hell? Are you kidding me, Ed? Oh, man. Why do you follow me, Ed? Wood chipper certified? Oh, man. Oh, boy. Oh, man. V. Rosen. Yeah, it's funny, but not funny. It's not funny at all. It's, oh, man. I mean, it's kind of funny. It's kind of funny, and it's disgusting at the same time. What the hell? Let's see. Terry Wallace. Who said it was him? What do you mean? Who are you talking about there? I'm hoping Trayton chimes back in here over on X. SSNS. If you guys want to find this, let's see. So you guys saw the video that I played earlier that went viral that Elon commented on. So this is his comment up here. He's the dude that was getting yelled at by the teacher, called a white boy. So, well, I didn't know that. That's cool. I didn't know I could throw comments up on the screen. I'm stupid. I just figured that out right now. Let's see. Birds of a feather flock together. Pete Kramer. Oh, the kid in the classroom. Yes, Terry Wallace. That's who I was talking about. Yeah, he's I don't know if it's really him. It might just be someone dicking with me, but I mean, it might be really him. I hope it is. I hope he chimes back in. All right, let's keep going. I got more stuff to get into. I don't care how long this show goes. I'm gonna get into everything. I'm gonna get through all of it because there's a lot to go. Yeah, this might be a 3-hour one, you guys. This might be a long one. All right, this is a funny video, but it's just another one of like what the hell are you talking about? Are you really doing this? Is this really a thing type scenario? Because this sort of is blowing my mind, but I guess this is really happening. So let's go over to Wall Street Apes here on the old X platform. And he says, so apparently Northrop Grumman, who's a defense contractor, has won a DARPA contract to develop a concept for building a moon-based railroad network. Yeah, you heard that right. Trains on the moon. Trains on the moon, guys. Paid for by American taxpayers. American taxpayers are losing their minds. This video has over 100,000 likes within 24 hours. Oh, wow. That's a lot. That is a lot, you guys. The most likes I've ever gotten on something is like 35,000, and that was like banana balls. 100,000 is a lot. This is the most effed up country on earth. Okay, here, I'll just play the video. Headphone warning, you guys. He gets I like this guy. This dude is funny, but he gets loud, so just be forewarned.
For anyone not paying attention, the United States just secured funding to give taxpayer money to Northrop Grumman to put a fucking train on the fucking moon. You don't have health care because we need fucking moon trains. This country is a fucking joke. Remember that when you fucking vote that you don't have health care because the goddamn moon needs a fucking train from a goddamn weapons contractor. Fuck America. This is the most fucked country on earth. And fuck you, Joe Biden, and every Democrat and every fucking Republican. All you have done is shown us that the cruelty is the only fucking point you have. Take this train and shove it up your ass. For anyone.
Okay, so I think this guy's a lefty because he's talking about free healthcare or government. I don't know. He's talking about healthcare for everybody, so that makes me assume that he's like a Jimmy Dore type lefty. But this dude's hilarious. I love this guy. He's freaking hysterical. Yeah, moon trains, guys. So I guess that's a thing. I guess they're talking about doing moon trains. Northrop Grumman, of all people, a defense contractor, building the moon train for us. How are we going to build a moon train, guys? Oh, God. Oh, man. B. Rosen, can you fill us in on the SNS? I don't know. I think he disappeared. He might have just checked in and checked out. Hopefully he DMs me. If he DMs me, yeah, I'll definitely tell you guys. Well, if he tells me he doesn't want to like be identified or anything like that, I'm not going to. If he tells me he wants me to keep stuff off the record, I absolutely will. I do not burn my sources. Let's see. All right, we'll keep going here. What do we got next? I know one of these segments has a lot of stuff I want to get through. Okay, we're going to talk about some border stuff, and there's a decent amount of stuff that I want to get through on this one. So, actually, no, we're not going to go to the border stuff just yet. We're going to talk about the FBI. We're going to talk about the glowy Fed boys harassing regular citizens, just showing up at people's houses. Terry Wallace Trenton, but I figured it out. I hope somebody talks to him. I really want to know if that was him, because I loved how they were all laughing at her in the video. Like, she's calling people white boys, and then everybody's just laughing at her. It's like it's highly encouraging that kids are not taking these super woke teachers seriously. That is highly encouraging to me. It's actually hysterical. It's hysterical that they're just making a mockery of all the wokeness. It brings joy to my cold black heart. All right, so Wall Street Apes. It's happened again. Officers drive over 100 miles to harass an American citizen who attended a Virginia pro-gun rally. Government officers won't risk American citizens organizing. They saw what appeared to be a pre-preparational planning, and came to confront him. All right, let's watch this video. Freaking feds, man.
What's going on here now? You have driven over 100 miles to harass a citizen on his front porch in Northumberland County based on a tip, which is exactly why the red laws are so bad. These red flag laws.
All right, so I'm not giving any legal advice here, but if the feds show up at your house, do not talk to them. Like, do not get into a back and forth like this. I'm 100% on this guy's side, but I mean, don't get into the details of this stuff. Anything you say can and will be used against you. They're going to know all this shit down. I mean, if these guys show up at their house, turn on your camera, say, what the fuck do you want? Do you have a warrant? No, get the fuck out of here. Go harass someone else. You guys are worthless scumbags. Talk shit to them all the way back to their car. Stay where you are. Don't allow them in your house whatsoever. Do not allow them in your house. Do not engage in conversation with them. Tell them, do you have a warrant either to search my house? Do you have a warrant for my arrest? No, go fuck yourself. You glowy piece of shit. Like, what the feds are doing, showing up at people's houses for social media posts, it's out where no threat has been made, nothing illegal at all, no threats. It's just, talking shit about the feds as they should have shit talked about them, especially the FBI with how corrupt they've proven to be since their inception. You know, J. Edgar Hoover giving blowies, getting freaking blackmailed by Meyer Lansky, all that stuff, and then just deciding to adopt that practice themselves, being in bed with the mob, literally, all that stuff. Don't talk to the feds, guys.
This is just a tip, sir. So there are many law enforcement officers present that day and have.
Fuck you, no. Just shut them up. Like, as soon as they start talking, saying, do you have a warrant? Shut up. No. Shut up. Go away, you glowy fed boy.
Been for a while. And what they saw was what appeared to be pre-operational planning. And they were
pre-operational planning. Oh, well, you appear to be gay. Are you gay, officer? Like, just talk shit to them. Just whatever comes to your mind. Don't engage in any back and forth. Do you have a warrant? No. You're still talking? Talk while you go back to your car, you scumbag.
Saul was an intelligent American citizen who is situationally aware of the piss poor job that y'all will do with my security. You are disarming me. You're putting me behind a gate. And yet still, as a free man, I'm going to come stand. Do you know what's in my backpack? My backpack will have first aid supplies.
See there. Don't like even that could potentially be used against you. Why do you have first aid supplies? Are you planning on getting in a scuffle? Don't tell them what's in your backpack. Dude, don't talk to the feds. Make fun of them. That's fine. If you're going to just make fun of them, talk shit to them, do not say anything about yourself. Nothing. It's all about them. Do you have a warrant for my arrest? No. Do you have a warrant to search the premises? No. Get the fuck out of here.
It will have a spray bottle. It will have a bottled water so I can help my fellow citizens when
It'll have water's a bottle. You can tell how nervous he is.
You bastards start spraying us.
Sir,
you are the problem.
We're not here to accuse you.
You are here, and that is enough to piss me off. This is just communism, socialism, right here, Bubba. Right here on our porch.
It's just authoritarianism, but I get what you mean, dude.
Okay. If you would like, you can contact my supervisor.
Friend, I just want to shake your hand and ask you to go the hell off my property. That's what I want to do.
I understand.
Unless you've got a charge or you got a warrant or you got some damn suspicion.
We're here just to talk to you. That's why
we have had our conversation. I am going to go to the Capitol on that date and and I'm going to lobby, actually, because I'm not protesting.
Okay.
I'm going to lobby much like I did last Monday, where I peacefully entered there, and you can find the video.
I understand you don't even want to listen to why I'm here.
No, I don't. Chloe, get the fuck off my property. Shut up, zip your tiny-lipped face, and get off my property. I don't give a shit what you have to say.
I understand why you're here, and I'll listen to you. I'll give you a shot here.
And again, like we said, we came here on a tip, and we just came here.
Who gave you the tip?
I'll give you a tip.
We just came here as we understand your rights as a free citizen. We do not have a warrant. You did not tell us to leave yet.
That's because I'm a free.
There, he says it right there. You did not tell us to leave yet. That's. Do you have a warrant? No. Get off my property. Leave right now. And as they're leaving, that's when you can just talk shit to them about their appearance, about how they're not well trained, whatever you want to say. Just talk shit to them.
Citizen, I'm not scared of you. I'm a citizen.
We don't want you to be
I'm not a damn subject, but whenever you people will take a tip.
Okay. It's not just a tip, sir. I mean, I viewed the video. It was called in by credible law enforcement officers. I viewed the video, and we've seen a lot of pre-operational planning activities at the Capitol. You know as well as anybody else, there are people that want to come there and do harm. We don't know you. We want to come here and talk to you and understand.
They do not want to come there and talk to you to try and figure it out. They're just trying to rule you out. Shut up. Get off my property. I can't stand these fucks. All right. Sorry about my language, guys. I know I try not to curse. I used to try not to curse so much, but I sort of abandoned that practice. So in this same vein, let's go over to the chair of the National Libertarian Party, Angela McArdle. So she says, FBI update. I spoke to them on Monday. So she was contacted. Angela McArdle was contacted by the FBI saying your Twitter account has been compromised. Yeah, your Twitter account's been compromised. Can't tell you how, but your Twitter account has been compromised. She says, I spoke to them Monday morning and they reiterated the hostile foreign government narrative about our Facebook. Allegedly, someone hostile logged in at some point, They provided us with very few details, except except to say we are the victims. Victims of what? The FBI cannot say. I filed a FOIA request. That's a Freedom of Information request. I'm sure you guys all know that. But investigation is still ongoing, so it's doubtful we will receive a response until the investigation is concluded. Thanks, government. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, this seems like them just trying to get them to shut down the Facebook page or whatever. Maybe their Facebook page has like tons of followers, and I don't know. Okay. So you're telling me that, okay, well, I'll look into that. Thank you. Go away now. FOIA request. It's so annoying. So freaking annoying. That's Angela McArdle. That's the chair of the National Libertarian Party. That's Angela for LNC chair. Angela for LNC chair. She's an awesome person. Yeah, she's a very cool person. You guys follow her. Let's check into the chat here. All right, Pete Grabber. Have a nice evening, you too. Sizzo right here, Bubba. What is that? Oh, you making fun of the fat boy? All right, we'll keep going here. Okay. So let's go over to Tara Bull on the Twitters, on the X platform. The DOJ is ordering Google to release the names and addresses of YouTube viewers who watch specific videos. It's unconstitutional, terrifying, and happening every day. These YouTube warrants are chilling, allowing police to get people simply for the content they consume. So this is a Fox News video. And yeah, apparently the Department of Justice, in addition to all the other super shady shit that they do, are demanding that YouTube hands over information about who watched certain videos, not who like created videos and put them on the online, but who watched them, who watched these videos. Yeah, you guys watch on Rumble. Don't use YouTube unless it's like how-to videos.
Ordered Google to hand over the names, addresses, telephone numbers, and user activity of those who watch certain YouTube videos. The feds were trying to track down a criminal and were apparently tracking you in the process. The senior national correspondent, Kevin Corke, is live in D.C. with big news about Big Brother. Kevin, good evening.
Evening, Trace. According to Forbes, the government asking Google to give up names, addresses, phone numbers, and user activity of all account users who accessed certain YouTube videos back in January of 2023, as you mentioned, as part of a larger criminal investigation. Now, in another instance, police also asked Google to provide a list of accounts that viewed and or interacted with YouTube live streams that could lead to information, again, on what they claim was a police search. Privacy experts tell Fox Business tonight this discovery is absolutely terrifying, saying it allows the police to target people for simply consuming content. Quote, it's unconstitutional, it's terrifying, and it's happening every day. These YouTube warrants are just as chilling, allowing police to target people simply for the content they consume. No one should fear and knock at the door from police simply because of what YouTube's algorithm serves up. Now, the discovery also comes as Meta is said to be changing its algorithm to restrict Instagram users' access to political information. And of course, as an upcoming Supreme Court ruling could set new standards for free speech. And while it's still unclear tonight if Google gave authorities the requested information, the company tells Fox Business this evening, quote, we have a rigorous process designed to protect the privacy and constitutional rights of our users. It goes on. We examine each demand for legal validity consistent with.
Google is the CIA. Just saying. Google is the CIA.
Developing case law, and we routinely push back against overbroad or otherwise inappropriate demands for user data, including objecting to some demands entirely. Now, the DOJ tonight has yet to respond to our request for comment. It is a huge story, a bombshell, some would say, Trace, one that will obviously garner further examination.
What the hell, Department of Justice? Well, let's remember, like, they are going fully overboard, the DOJ, Merrick Garland's DOJ. They are out of control. They are completely out of control. And they recently came out and they're going to do a gun grab, you guys. So the launch of the national, Merrick Garland released this probably like a week ago. And he says the launch of the National Extreme Risk Protection Order Resource Center will provide our partners across the country with valuable resources to keep firearms out of the hands of individuals who pose a threat to themselves or others. You read between the lines there? The establishment of the center is the latest example of the Justice Department's work to use every tool provided by the landmark bipartisan Safer Communities Act to protect communities from gun violence. Okay. Well, New York already has a national extreme risk protection order, or extreme risk protection order. They added the national to it. So ERPO, New York already has one. One of the pieces of criteria for this, there's a video in my highlights that I clipped where I talk about this, but New York already has this in place. And one of the pieces, one of the criteria, and I believe you only have to meet one of these pieces of criteria, is you just recently purchased a firearm or ammunition. That would be justification for them to take this ERPO, Extreme Risk Protection Order, take it to a judge and say, hey, this individual has said, fuck you, glowy Fed boys on the internet to us, and he recently bought a firearm. So we think that's justification to take his firearms away. And a judge can say, yeah, I agree with you. Sign it, and they can come to your house and say, hey, we're confiscating your weapons because we think you're a threat because you called us gay, glowy Fed boys. So we're taking your guns. Just keep that in mind, guys. Like, this is our Department of Justice. This is what they're doing while they're letting in criminals, like straight up criminals. Venezuela emptying their prisons and sending their inmates to us, and Joe Biden flying them in and putting them on buses and sending them throughout the entire country. That's really happening. It's absolutely happening. So just keep that in mind. That's what the Department of Justice is doing, to disarm you as they are allowing criminals in, and also allowing existing criminals already here to operate with impunity. Soros DA is just letting them off with, a warning, whatever. Let's see. Kelly Meacham, I believe. Doesn't anyone know what these videos are? Does anyone know what these videos are? They don't care who's going to stop them. Not sure what you're talking about there. Yeah, well, I'm not sure what you're getting at there. Let's see. Whiskey Reaper, good stuff. Salty Oxford. Yeah, I like Salty Cracker. He's a good dude. He's also very funny. I love his voice. His accent's hilarious. All right, let's keep going here. I got some more stuff I want to get into. Yeah, I got 3 more segments I want to go through, guys. This next one is, you know what? Yeah, I'm probably not going to get through all of it. I don't want to do a 3-hour show. Yeah, you know what? Maybe I'll leave this for tomorrow night. Yeah, there's 3 other segments I wanted to do. I got P. Diddy, a whole bunch of P. Diddy stuff I want to talk about. I've got, what was this? Oh, yeah, I got all the border stuff that I want to talk about. Tons of border stuff that I want to get into. And CERN, the Large Hadron Collider that I want to talk about. All that stuff. So actually, in all 3 of these are fairly long segments. And to be quite frank, the CERN, the Large Hadron Collider stuff, I kind of threw that together at the last minute. And I would like to have that a little better put together before I went into it. So yeah, you know what? I think I am going to leave this stuff for tomorrow night. Yes, I am. And I'm doing 2 shows tomorrow, you guys. I'm doing 2 of them. I'm doing one in the morning. This is an interview. Doing an interview tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If you guys are interested. I am interviewing Mark Girardeau. He is the author of The Needle's Secret and The Bolus Theory. And from everything that I haven't read his book. I know I should have. I only had a week. But he believes that a lot of the vaccine injury stuff that we're seeing is because they didn't aspirate. They didn't, the injections were done wrong because, they just kind of shoved them into people's arms and just pushed the plunger. From my understanding, you're not supposed to do that. If you're trying to not go into a vein or a capillary or whatever, you're supposed to pull back on the plunger to see if any blood comes with it. Because if blood comes with it, that means you're in a vein or a blood vessel, and you're not supposed to be. It's supposed to go into the tissue, like the soft tissue. Well, if you pull back on the plunger and there's blood, you're supposed to pull it out and start over, apparently. And if it injects right into the bloodstream, it goes everywhere. All the mRNA, the lipid nanoparticle stuff, it goes everywhere. He's going to explain this way better than me. This is his specialty. He wrote a book on it called The Bolus Theory. Yeah, I'll be interviewing. He's in France, so that's why I'm doing it at a really weird time. I'm doing it tomorrow at 10 a.m. Probably just be about an hour, maybe 90 minutes. But yeah, should be some good content. If you guys want to check it out, I will be back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. And yeah, I think that is all the stuff that I'm going to get into tonight. We'll just keep it short. We'll keep it a 2-hour show. Yeah, I think that is what we'll do. Let's see. The DOJ doesn't care because no one will stop them. Yeah, straight up. Like, well, it's like that with so much stuff right now that the government kind of, it seems like they're just like, all right, well, the cat's out of the bag. People already know, and we're just going to keep doing it because it's all perception at this point. There's tons of people that refuse to look, the whole don't look up thing, that refuse to acknowledge that our government seems to be actively destroying this country in every possible way, collapsing the dollar, wide open borders, crime running rampant, obviously printing tons of money and sending it to foreign countries for wars that aren't ours. So the Israel crap, all this stuff, it seems to not be in our best interest at all. There's tons of people pointing at it saying that doesn't seem to be in our best interest, and you keep doing it. And they're like, yeah, we're going to keep doing it. And there's tons of people that are just like, oh, no, I'm not looking. And they are just continuing doing it. It's like we have no recourse whatsoever. The people that are supposed to represent us clearly don't represent us. And yeah, the founding fathers would have been throwing tea in the ocean a long time ago. And that's a metaphor. Yeah. So, yeah, that's about it. All right. That is, I think, all that I'm going to get into tonight, you guys. I will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. and I'll be back tomorrow night at 6:30 as well. So all you guys, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. Terry Wallace, Goat Cheese Millennial, Northside, the RGS, Whiskey Reaper. That's all you guys over there on Rumble. Then over on YouTube and X, we got Wally World. Thanks so much, as always, Wally World. Always good to see you. Pete Grabber, I think you already took off. B Sizzo, Amuse Thing, nice to see you. And SNS, man, I really want to know if you were trading, if you're really the guy in the video. V Rosen, nice to see you as well. Let's see. And Kelly Meekum, nice to see you. Let's see. Thanks for the show. First time watching. And you're an Aptos. Great conversation. We'll watch again. Awesome. Great. If you're an Aptos, then watch the video of Aptos High School of the kid getting yelled at. That's what's going. That's the video that went viral today. All right. Thank you guys so much. Before we get out of here, you know how we do it. We got to tell a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. Let's see. What do we have this evening? What do we got? What is our joke this evening? Oh my God. Okay. All right. Something a little spicy, guys. All right. Here's the Chuck Norris joke of the evening. I will see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Instead of warming up before a let me start over because this one's spicy. Instead of warming up before a workout, Chuck Norris hammers himself to a crucifix and then pulls the stakes out with his teeth. And on that note, stay CaliBased.